What's up, guys? Eric Codes here, and I'm gonna do a video today talking about how to be a freelance web developer. Okay, because I think people get in their heads the wrong ideas about freelance web development and what they actually need to know to be successful. So before I get started, I do want to say that I am a freelance web developer. I do it on the side. I have a 9-to-5 where I'm a full-time, full-stack web developer. We work with PHP, JavaScript, countless libraries, that sort of thing, in basically a case management system. And then on the side, I do freelance web development where I do websites, could be, stores, kind of you name it, I do it all. And so I do know what I'm talking about, and I can share a fair bit of advice with you. And the first thing that I want to talk about is how long do you wait, right? I see all the time people asking about how to be a freelance web developer, and they say, what do I need to learn? What do I need to know? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I think most people wait way too long, okay? They wait way too long to kind of start because they think they get in this perpetual cycle of, once I know this, then I'll start. Or once I know that, then I'll start, right? Like, what do you need to know to start a web agency? You need to know HTML, CSS, some JavaScript, and I would recommend PHP. Okay? If you know those four things, you are golden. Now, that being said, you are going to be limited as a web developer, and you're also going to be limited in what clients actually want your services. Because most clients, especially ones that I have too, they want the ability to have some sort of control over their website. Okay? Now, if you are doing this, with your regular HTML, CSS, JavaScript stack, that means that you're going to have to provide them with a back end or some way that they can manipulate the content that's on the screen. Okay? And so it's going to take a lot, unless you have your own thing already built, which you use for all of your clients, which is fine. You're going to want some sort of content management system. So then you get into the world of, what kind of content management system do we want? Do we want to go with WordPress? Do I want to do, mostly stores? So do we go with Shopify? Like what is it that we do? Well, for me, I would recommend that you go out and you learn WordPress development, okay? Now, I know a lot of developers, web developers, right? They hear WordPress, they're like, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that either, okay? The thing is, people get confused over WordPress development. They hear that and they think that all they're going to do is use Elementor or one of those page builders, okay? It's not the case, okay? It can be the case, right? If you look for a really big agency that kind of churns everything out, they might use Beaver Builder, they might use Elementor, right? But we're talking about freelance, okay? And as a freelancer, WordPress development, you can still do exactly what you do, like custom web development, tapping into WordPress, okay? So for instance, what I use it for is I love the fact that I can utilize the post system to give them a blog. I can utilize custom post types to give them, like if they want to have events, right? All I do is I use that, and I use, maybe advanced custom fields, right? And then I do like a custom template for them in their theme that kind of melds all that together so they get the best of both worlds. They get the nice, highly customized design that you as a web developer still get to design, and they also get the ability to easily go in and say, add a new event, right? And then you as a developer say, okay, well, they can make as many events as they want. let's work some logic in here that says, hey, once the date of the event is passed, don't show it on the website anymore, right? You get to control how you want that event to look, right? Do you want the cards? You want a card that flips over? Like, what do you want to do, right? That's still all up to you as the developer, and you get to custom develop it yourself. You just need to learn how the WordPress kind of ecosystem works. Then on top of that, if you learn WordPress and you get the basic understanding of how WordPress works with custom themes, then you can start making plugins as well. So like one plugin I have is like a membership manager. So the client wants the ability to give content to their members if they're paid up to a certain time, right? So if they have a subscription, and then they want to easily be able to make them unavailable to see those if they haven't paid their membership, or they can take their, they can easily click a button and take their access away. So the plugin I use works with the WordPress backend. So like their members all actually have like a WordPress profile. So then I can pull in all the data from the WordPress profile. I can, from what WordPress actually has, allow them to change their email addresses and all those different things. Like they're able to do that in there. While at the same time, this custom plugin allows them to manage memberships as well. So they can control then what, people that are paid members see and what people that are not paid members can see. So it's pretty nice. But again, I use that whole WordPress ecosystem. Then when there's certain things that are really popular that they want to throw in, there's a lot of already produced plugins that they can add themselves or you can add for them. So there's all this, basically all a plugin is just custom code that can, be plugged into any website. That's the name plugin. So if they want to put a calendar or they want to have some sort of way to access whatever, it can all be done very easily within that ecosystem. So the other thing I'll do a lot as well is they'll have a certain design in mind, especially for their homepage, if they like the way that I did it. And then they'll be like, well, but we'd like to be able to, easily adjust it. So then you start making things like shortcodes. And shortcodes are just little things that they can call in. It has a syntax, like it's a bracket, open bracket, and a closed bracket, and whatever the name of the shortcode is in between. And what that allows to happen is they can pull in all that, like, let's say the events, right? They can pull the events anywhere that they want in their website. So if they don't just want it on the main page, they want to start an events page, they want to do all this stuff, they can do that. They can also then say, hey, you know what? Let's put Elementor in here. They can call through Elementor, or any page builder. So what it allows to happen is it takes a lot of architectural stuff off of your plate, right? So especially like a login system. It's boilerplate, just annoying stuff that you need to write. Why not use WordPress to do that, right? Then you have all this extra functionality, like the analytics stuff. There's analytic plugins, right? You really want to write all that code, and if you do, that's fine, and then have your own system that goes through there. When you're first getting started, you can't charge those prices to justify all that work. So if you learn WordPress, you still can do custom web development. You can still use JavaScript to do your API calls if you want to pull stuff in from other places. You get to do custom CSS, right? Custom plugins. Like, you still have all of that access to whatever you want, plus the convenience that WordPress offers. Then if you decide, we're also doing stores, another plugin is called WooCommerce. So now you can easily create a store for these people, for clients. I mean, it can't get much better than that, So that's a long-winded way of saying, when you're first starting, learn something like that. Now, it doesn't have to be WordPress. You go with Drupal. You can learn what's the other one? Drupal, Joomla is another one. You want to learn Shopify, go Shopify, right? But Shopify is going to be different because it's not Ruby on Rails, or it's a Ruby on Rails. It's not PHP and what you're probably going to be used to. Plus, really cheap to host any sort of WordPress, right? Like, go out there, you can look at Hostinger, which is what I prefer, SiteGround. People don't like GoDaddy, but GoDaddy, Bluehost, HostGator, you name it. All of those have PHP hosting and WordPress hosting with a one-click install to get it going, And then all you have to worry about is the theme file and the plugins that you pull into the site. There's also a plugin, what is it, WP File Manager, where now you don't even need access to the hosting if you don't want to. As long as that WP File Manager's plugins in there, you can work right directly within the WordPress ecosystem. So, it's real nice. Again, I do WordPress because people that wanted it. I had clients that were originally just normal HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP site. And then they were like, well, I want to be able to control it. So I converted it to a WordPress site. Took all the custom code that was written and just put it into the WordPress format, Pulled it in. You got to know the naming conventions. That's another video for another time on how to do that. But, really great. I could share. I have a tutorial on how to do your own theme. I'll share that in the description so you can check it out. But as long as you follow the naming convention, you can make a custom theme. And so if you're starting a web agency, okay, I think you really need to learn something like WordPress or Shopify or some sort of thing that is going to, number one, make your job faster and easier. Number two, give the client what they actually want, right, and that they can understand, which number three will ultimately lead to happier customers, and number four, getting referrals. So I really think that's kind of your sweet spot. So if you're starting a web agency, I highly recommend you learn WordPress or something along those lines to help you manage content, because at the end of the day, that's what your clients are going to want. Happy clients leads to more clients leads to more money for you. So, that's my take on how to kind of start your own web agency, or what you should be doing to start your own web agency and freelance. Are there other things that you could do freelance wise? Yeah, but you're going to invest. Sometimes if you go out and you learn React and you spend all this time learning React, the amount of people that are actually going to need React for your site or for their site is going to be very small. You're not going to use it. Now, it's a great thing to know. It's cool to know, but most people aren't going to need that. They're going to need a simple PHP-based or WordPress-based website where they can have a contact form. They can have, you can hook it to an emailer, so that they can get promotional emails going. They're going to need a homepage and about page, and really that's about it. That's most of the things you're going to do out there. If you have a store, then they're going to need, a product page and a little bit more. So you charge more for that. But, at the end of the day, fastest, easiest, most reliable way to make that happen is to use something like a WordPress. And again, WordPress has its flaws, and it took me a while to understand really how to work around it. And, there's still things I don't like about it. But the alternative is to, spend days and days and hours, putting something together that's custom made by me. Then now I have to worry about security. I have to worry about all these different things. Or I could just let WordPress worry about that for me. Worry about the security, worry about all that other stuff. It's not on me. It's on WordPress then. So that's what I recommend, Again, I'll include that link so you can see how to build your own WordPress theme out there, and steps that I think you need to take if you are starting an agency. Again, learn WordPress, learn the basics, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, learn WordPress, you know, and get started. Don't wait too long, because, you know, if you wait too long and you got to wait to learn so many things, you're never going to get going with it. So that's my nugget of wisdom today on my walk. Again, it's Eric Codes. Leave a comment below. Also, I offer coaching. So if anybody else wants to be coached, give me a message, and we'll see about getting you coached up, give you tools to help you apply your learning. Not to help you learn, to help you apply the learning, because that's what's going to make it stick. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you next time.